Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the E61 podcast. And I got myself Hector, also known as CN6. And with me, I got Hav.
Yo.
And I got Jazzy.
What's up?
And tonight, we're going to be reviewing the last episode of Loki Season 2, Episode 6.
Yeah, bro.
But before we get into that, guys, I'd like to remind you guys that you guys can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, Google, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Make sure to follow our socials at HeRayVision Podcast or go to HeRayVisionPodcast.com. You can see all of our links through there. Make sure you follow our second YouTube channel called Heat Ray Vision Clips. That's where we upload all of our clips. Or if you don't have enough time to listen to the whole podcast, we'll post all the highlights through there. Make sure you follow our main page called Heat Ray Vision to stay up to date with geek news and films, TV, and video games. The socials are at Heat Ray Vision or go to HeatRayVision.com to find all of our socials. All the links will be down in the description. With that being said, man, Loki.
It's over, bro.
Oh man,
We've reached the end.
It's. I was gonna say it's finally over, but I mean, it kind of.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Slow start.
Slow start, but
Yeah,
I think a
first
great
two
finish
episodes,
though.
bro. I think it. I do think it did finish strong.
Yeah, it did finish strong.
Yeah,
man.
bro. Because this last episode, I guess the first thing I want to mention. I don't know if you noticed this, Hector.
What's up?
Did you notice that this episode was actually long?
Yeah, it was. It was like what, an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was interesting because you
It's
see
about
how like
time.
yeah, right? Because you notice all these streaming services when they make their weekly shows and their
Yeah.
last episode's always the shortest. So when I saw this one was when I had hopped on Disney Plus and it said 58 minutes, I was like, okay, so we're gonna actually have like a finale feeling show like episode. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, cool. So I wonder what they're all gonna. I wonder where they're all gonna fit in this long as. You know what I mean?
And so I guess, guys, if you guys are listening to this is dropping after the Marvels review, and I included a snippet in the Marvels review about explaining how we forgot to talk about the setup. Of the Young Avengers.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that in the spoiler section.
Yeah, we're in the spoiler section, guys. I mean, by the title, you guys should see it, man. It's spoilers. So.
Oh no, yeah, that's right. No, yeah, this review's a spoiler review.
Guys. Spoiler.
I'm talking about that we forgot to mention the Young Avengers setup in the spoiler section of the Marvels.
Yeah,
review.
we forgot, and I basically just said that.
You know why though?
We were just hyped for the
We were
X-Men.
too hyped for Beast.
we were too hyped for the
Beast,
X-Men and
man.
everything.
We overlooked that shit.
So yeah, I gave my quick thoughts on it already. And I guess I have maybe some theories of who else could be joining and stuff. But I did say that I'll ask for your opinion, Hav. You gave your quick opinion. And I also said in the clip that Mario wasn't going to be here for this review. But I guess I was wrong. For some reason, I thought he was going to come. I don't know. I thought he was busy for whatever reason. Like
I was busy
sister's
yesterday.
birthday? Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, well, he's here, guys. So we're gonna get like
His thoughts too.
his thoughts too. So I guess Mario, let's start with you, bro. What'd you think about the setup of Miss Marvel pulling a Nick Fury essentially and trying to start up a new team?
So I got a question.
Yeah.
So the Young Avengers ain't the actual Avengers? It's just like it's just
No,
like the B team?
No, they're sent. No, they're not the actual like
Legit Avengers.
No, it's just
it's a B team.
It's exactly. It's people that they, I guess, took over the name of their
Predecessors.
Exactly, you're right. So like kind of
okay.
like with Kate Bishop. What happened with Hawkeye? Well, right? So technically, Hawkeye kind of hands a torch to her, trains her and shit. Kind of like what the Incredible Hulk is doing with
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk and everything. Like essentially, that's what that. Team
Oh,
is.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I mean that's cool. I mean, I don't know who else is gonna be involved in it because right now all we
I
got
got a
is
few ideas.
Me too.
Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel.
Yep.
Who else? Wasn't there a third person?
Another person that they confirmed. Yeah.
Who was it?
It was Cassie Lang.
There we go. Her.
Because
Oh, they confirmed her? Where?
in the fucking end credit scene, bro. I think it was Kate Bishop. She said, like she didn't say, like she just said, "Oh, did you know that Ant-Man has a daughter?" So we could just
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I must have missed that.
yeah.
But okay,
No, he's
Cassie
right.
Lang. That
right,
makes
right,
sense.
Mario.
Yeah,
like,
no,
she
no,
says-
you're right. Yeah, she
who
said
said
that.
that? Miss Marvel, Kate
Miss
Bishop?
Marvel said like
Miss
it was
Marvel
either
or Kate
that or
Bishop?
someone else said it, but the line was right.
It was either one of them two. They said they implied. Oh, did you know that Ant-Man has a daughter? So it's implied that
Makes sense.
she's gonna
Makes
join
sense.
it.
The only other I mean, it's
And
cool.
I said in the clip, I'm like, you know how we feel about Cassie Lang.
Yeah.
About her acting.
Yeah.
and-
bro.
Hopefully it's better than that.
Yeah, hopefully it's better, right?
Hopefully it's
It's
better.
improvement, like
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how it
We'll
was
see.
with
The only, I mean,
Darcy.
it's gonna be cool. I'm assuming another addition they're gonna have is Ironheart. Is her?
Ironheart's one of them.
I'm pretty sure she's gonna be one.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking forward to that because she's having her own show next year, I believe, or some shit like that, if I remember correctly. But I'm assuming this is gonna be like Marvel's attempt at like the Defenders from the Netflix shit. Because I remember watching. That's what it's called, right?
The Defenders on
yeah,
Netflix.
the Defenders
cool.
shit. That's gonna be
That
like
show
their
was
version of that. Don't know if it's gonna be good because I remember watching that and I liked it. But I mean, I'll give it a shot. I don't have like the highest hopes considering how I feel with Marvel and with anything and any other projects.
No, I get you. But it's just kind of cool that we finally have like oh shit, like now we're kind of getting somewhere. Now the team's finally forming because we already imply. I mean, we called this before, right? How,
Yeah,
they're
knew.
going to set up an Avengers, a young Avengers and stuff.
We knew. Once we started seeing Phase 4 and 5 introducing younger characters and stuff like that, I kind of had a feeling we were going in that direction. This is just like the confirmation.
It's like it's about time.
It.
Like it's finally going on.
Now, my question is for you guys is that obviously at the end of Phase 6, which will end the multiverse saga, we're getting 2 Avengers movies. Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars. Do you think they're going to do
the Avengers is the Young Avengers?
Do you think they're going to do one of those Avengers be the Young Avengers? Because like I don't see how a bunch
probably,
of
dude.
I don't see
honestly,
I'm gonna be real. I don't know because I don't know how I feel about a bunch of kids in their 20s going up against Kang the fucking Conqueror.
Maybe
or
the
even
first
in Secret
movie.
Wars. You know what I mean?
You're right.
You feel me?
I just think they would get a movie, man. I think they will.
Yeah.
Everybody's
No, I'm sure they will. It's just I don't think it's gonna be one of those 2 Avengers movies.
Oh.
But maybe they're gonna make one that's gonna be called Young Avengers.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and then that's gonna be like where they're gonna take down some other person, like.
Right.
But that's not gonna be in one of those big Avengers movies that we're getting in Phase 6.
Yeah, I mean, I can most definitely see that happening because you can't give them Kang. They would get rocked.
Yeah, that's what
they
I'm
would
saying.
get fucking rocked.
You
dude.
can't, bro. Like I would see Doctor Strange.
No, yeah. Do you want to speculate on who's gonna be on the team? So we already said those 3 are confirmed.
So we have
Ironheart.
Ironheart, Kamala Khan, and Kate Bishop. Another person is She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, She-Hulk.
Not her. Not She-Hulk.
Not She-Hulk?
No, fuck no.
I could see She-Hulk.
I was
She's not that young. She's like in her 30s.
Yeah,
She's
true.
not She-Hulk. I was gonna say in the She-Hulk show we were
the
introduced
son.
we were introduced to Scar.
Oh
him.
yeah, you're right. I forgot about
him.
that.
Yeah,
shit,
so
man.
Hulk's son gets introduced. He had no lines
I forgot about
whatsoever.
him, I'm not gonna lie.
He's gonna be in it.
He looked a lot
For
of
those of you
CGI.
who remember Falcon and Winter Soldier, Falcon had like that little Latino military guy that was helping him out with his missions.
Oh,
He might also be recruited because he's
Really?
coming back for Brave New World. And in the show, when he takes this mantle of Cap, like I guess he did a mission.
Yeah.
And his like wings got fucked up, like his Falcon wings. That's why he gets new ones. But the old kid took the old ones and said, "I can fix these," which kind of implies that he might take on another.
I forgot
Falcon
about
role.
that shit, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, man,
same
I'm
here.
just an encyclopedia, bro. I don't know
For
what
real.
to tell you.
He rewatched the,
two-
show 5 times.
Twice, but Wanda's kids.
Oh yeah, Wanda's kids, huh?
Wanda's
But
kids.
aren't they too young?
But like with over the years,
over
now they're gonna
time,
start
maybe.
aging. Remember, Wanda was 2 years ago. WandaVision.
And
And by the time we get a Young Avengers movie, will be another few years, so they'll have time to age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only
Black
thing
Panther.
Oh.
yeah, but I think like that is true. But I think like I don't know, man, because that kid in Wakanda Forever.
He was young, yeah,
he was
but like
too
I
young.
said,
it's been
time
years.
jump, man.
Yeah, we
It
both
could
said
be
like
Right,
years.
but no,
yeah.
but this kid admittedly looks a lot younger than Wanda's twin kids. So even in a 4-year jump, he'd still be like what, like 11? Where those kids could probably be in their late teens.
unless they do something with like the multiverse type shit.
Oh, and we get like a
Yeah.
I could see that.
Or like it is him, but
Right.
like he's just older, but if from a different universe, or something. I don't fucking know.
Or what if they do like in the MCU world where they like do like a 6-year jump or some shit like that? They could do that. It's a far fetch though, but
Like another like a 6-year jump. Or
yeah.
something. Yeah, I think it's got to be some type of like time jump, man.
Here, I'm gonna pull up the Phase 4 and 5 movies so I can remember like who was introduced. But America Chavez.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude, I
100%.
forgot about
Oh
her.
no, she's
Strange.
100%. She
Yeah,
has
she's
to be in.
100% in, man.
Doctor
Yeah.
Strange.
I forgot about her.
I forgot
dude.
about her too.
Dude, what the fuck?
I don't think Spider-Man's gonna be in it.
I don't
no,
think so.
he's in the
Avengers
Avengers
tier.
Yeah.
He's
yeah,
Avengers
he's
tier.
in that.
Thor's like adoptive daughter from Love and Thunder.
Oh yeah, her, huh? That's true. I forgot about her.
yeah,
too.
bro. Yeah. We already said Kate Bishop, Miss
Yeah.
Marvel, Hulk's son. That's it for Phase 4. For Phase 5, I don't know if we've been introduced to anybody in Phase 5. Oh, Cassie Lang.
Yeah.
The Guardians. I doubt any of them from the Guardians will come through.
They're in space. They would need a legit
so.
reason to come to Earth.
Ironheart. We already said. I think that's all of them, bro. Low
Yeah,
key.
that's all of them.
I mean, that's
ones...
like 6 people, bro.
Fuck no. We named more than 6, didn't we?
That was
yeah,
more
but
than
how
6.
big is the team gonna be though?
That's the thing, because like the original Avengers were only 6 people, and then Avengers 2 added like 3.
Yeah.
Added 3 more people.
But I mean,
like,
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, I just
those are my guesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I just wanted to get your guys' like thoughts on it because we legit did not mention it at all. I knew I had to include it because I knew some people would have been asking, "Yo, what the fuck? Like y'all skipped out on this?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I gotta.
Bro, it's because we got too hyped with these, man. I saw them furry ass arms. I'm like, that's not Teal.
That's
Hank McCoy.
Those aren't the furries I'm into.
This dumbass motherfucker. He said furries.
No, Mario crazy. No, but yeah, guys, Loki, right? So before we dive in, right, I had a question, right? It's from Luis.
Okay.
Well,
Shout out,
more
Luis.
so, not necessarily a question, but he's basically just saying, "Yo, man, I need the new Loki pod." Also, on the last Loki pod, he's talking about the episode 5 one that we did. I thought you guys were going to explain why there were 2 Lokis and why one of them pruned the other and told Sylvie it would all make sense. And obviously, I'm assuming, yeah, because we forgot to mention that, but I got you, bro. Like, what happened was, is that, I don't know if you guys remember. Do you remember in the first episode where
Loki was time slipping everywhere?
Yeah, and do you remember that scene where like he just like sees himself and he sees himself get pruned by like someone unseen?
Yes.
In the first episode, you're like, what the fuck? And we later find out it was him.
It was himself.
And the reason why is because OB, when he's told him, "Oh yeah, you're time slipping," said that you are in the past, present, and the future. And the thing is, you have to essentially prune yourself, kill yourself to become more stable. That way, you're not just randomly time slipping from the future, past, and like, present, right? So once OB let Loki know about that situation, that's when he's like, "Oh shit, like okay, now I know what to do." And he finally gets the chance of pruning himself, and that is when he starts becoming more stable, which leads to him to be able to control his time slipping.
Gotcha.
So does that make sense?
I missed that.
But yeah, man. So that's essentially what it is. That's essentially what happened.
Why he pruned himself.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Because then if not, it would have just been a continuous paradox, like a continuous loop of him time slipping from there, here, and here. So like he had to prune himself from the future or something. So he's not in that loophole, and that way he could finally control his time slipping. And that's what happened, right?
Okay.
So yeah, Luis, hopefully that answers your question, dude. That's pretty much the reason why he pruned himself. But yeah, okay. So let's start at the beginning of this episode. What's going on, man?
So in the beginning of the episode, we find out that Loki was able to figure out how to control his time slipping.
This shit was crazy, man.
And he time slips to the very moment where they're about to put Victor Timely in the suit to go down the runway and put the machine into the machine. I forgot the names at this point. But the mission.
The temporal loom or some shit?
No, that's the temporal...
What do you... Mario's dying right now. Hey, man, there is a lot of machines out there.
He just said to put the machine in the machine. I forgot the name, bro.
No, the temporal loom is the actual tunnel thing.
Yeah.
I forgot what the fucking...
It's funny because I'm in the same boat. I would have said this out. Like, he put the machine into this shit, man. That's why I know.
I forgot. I keep forgetting what it's called,
I forgot
too.
what the fuck it was called, bro. But, like, basically the mission that was episode 5, where we saw Victor Timely, or in episode 4, I should say, when he just got fucking evaporated and shit, right?
Yeah.
So he time slips to that moment, and when he gets there, OB's trying to be like, okay, here's what you're gonna do, right? And then Loki was like, fuck that. He's just like, listen, you're gonna do this, and this, and that. Start going. And then he runs out and he dies and shit.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck. So he keeps essentially time slipping over and over again to try to get the attempt right.
So many times.
But Victor Timely always dies. And he's like, why does he keep fucking dying? He's like, oh, the radiation's too bad.
Yeah.
So I need to time slip further back. So he time slips to like even further back,
trying to speed up
the process and trying to rush him into. But it gets difficult because Victor Timely at that point had just gotten to the TVA.
Yeah.
And it wasn't filled in with anything. Yeah. So when Loki's trying to rush him in the suit, he's just like, whoa, like no one's explaining the plan.
Or like, how do you know
starts doing the stutter bullshit. And so it's just like one of those things where like I kind of felt Loki all tedious. It was just like, bro, shut up and go do the mission.
No, I know what you mean.
Save the multiverse, bitch.
And then so that's what's happening, right? And then they get to that part where they finally like introduce, because he goes back to where they introduce Victor Timely and OB, and they oh yeah this is blah blah blah, here's a temporal loom, you're gonna fix this, and then it comes to the point where like, you know what, like no, this isn't fast enough. OB man, how long will it take for me to learn all this shit? He's like, what are you talking about? Right? He's like, thousands of years, whatever. And then Victor Timely said, centuries. And then Loki just looks around. He's like, "Oh my god!"
He just goes. He just sighs. He just goes.
Yeah, and then we get that title card. Centuries
later.
Dude, I was in a car watching that, and I was like, "No way!"
That's crazy.
Yo, that's some Dragon Ball type shit. When Goku's going in the dragon to go find what's his name?
Oh yeah.
And it takes a whole year to get there. Whatever the fuck.
And he was flying too.
Yeah,
like, that was. Damn. Okay, Mario knowing his Dragon Ball knowledge now. Are you in Z?
Yeah, I passed that.
Oh, okay.
Like,
okay.
I passed.
Oh no,
that.
right. You skipped Dragon Ball, right? Yeah, fuck. Who cares, man? It's just Dragon Ball Z, man. It would be good.
But what's it called? That was crazy, man.
Dude, that was
my
crazy.
Man time
fuck,
slipped
man.
centuries just to learn this shit.
Yeah, just to learn everything.
And then he comes back knowing more than Victor Timely's ass, bro. It's like, you got the Einstein here, but I'm Einstein.
For real,
fuck
dude.
you mean, girl?
What the hell? Like, that was crazy. I'm like, no way. The amount of dedication that this motherfucker was enduring, dude. And it must have been lonely as shit. You know what I mean?
Unless he just time slipped far enough to like learn with the scientists and shit, like to learn all that shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Like learning how to build it and learning all the fucking all the scientists and
stuff. And then right. So finally, after centuries later of studying, right, we get the one last go, and it's actually working. Victor Timely is able to making his way
through. And dude, the whole time I'm like, let me guess, like right as he's about to put it in, like he fucking dies. But like he actually was able to put the machine in, and then he aims it at the temporal loom.
Yeah.
And it fucking like expands it, and we're like, oh shit, it's fucking like it's lit, right? Like we actually did it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, the mission accomplished, right? We did it. And then I look at the episode, I'm like, there's still 30 minutes left though.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck gonna happen? And we saw that even though the machine shot that beam right at the temporal loom and it expanded the loom for the branches to fit in, it still fails. It still fails. And the readings are all off because OB's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, the readings are off. And then Loki's like, that's not possible. It's like, how is that even possible? He's like, it's not supposed to be. And they're like, what the fuck? And Victor Timely, like, by this time, he's back. He runs back down the runway and he comes back, takes off the suit, right? And they're like, what the fuck? How is this possible? But we did everything right. We put the machine in. We tried to increase the loom. What the fuck? And that's when I forget exactly what Timely said, bro. But he said like a thing that were like it was like a paradox.
He said no, because the branches are becoming like they're infinite timelines.
Yes,
they're infinite timelines. So since they're infinite, right? That means nothing can contain it. Not even if you make the temporal loom bigger or whatever,
nothing can contain it. And that's when it's mentioned that the loom, the sole purpose of what that loom is, that little tunnel in the middle, they were trying to make bigger, is to protect the sacred timeline, which we know would be like our regular timeline, the Avengers, Infinity Saga, Multiverse Saga timeline. And he's like, whereas all the other timelines are just gonna get destroyed, are all gonna get destroyed.
Yeah,
he's like, you can't, like, the thing is, all the branches are gathering up infinitely. Like, there is no end to how many universes and timelines are there in the space-time continuum type shit. So for us to make the loom bigger will still not be big enough to fit infinity. And then that's when he drops that cold-ass line. He's like, it's like dividing by zero. You just can't. And I was like, no fucking way, man.
It's like, what are we gonna do now, man?
And Loki was like, what the fuck do I do then? And then I swear to God, just as I thought it, it happened in the show. I was like, wait a minute, didn't I have a theory that Loki was gonna time slip? And then sure enough, he fucking time slips right to when Sylvie was about to kill He Who Remains. What can I say? I'm a Marvel guy 2 times in a row, bro.
We called out champ.
we called the X-Men, and we called out
this shit, he would come back.
What can I say, cowgirl?
I mean, and he's back, and
now we're back to season 1 of Loki, which I'm gonna be like, oh shit, that's cool. We kind of came full circle now, right?
Yep.
But yeah, he's able to time slip, bro, and he came back to the part where Sylvie was about to kill him, and like it's Loki from season 1. He's like, you don't want to do the, and then you see the right, like that bullshit, and then it's Loki, and he's like, nah, fuck that. And he starts fighting her.
Starts fighting Sylvie.
And they start fighting, and it's like it reminded me of 2 things. It reminded me of like how it's a canon event. That Sylvie kills Kang, because no matter what you do to try to avoid it, it always happens. It also reminds me of the Doctor Strange episode of What If, where he tried his hardest to avoid his love interest from dying, no matter what. But it's like a fixed point in time, and it like no matter what you do to try to change it,
That's
always
a fire
happens.
episode still, man.
Oh yeah, Doctor Strange, bro. Dude, season 2 is supposed to drop sometime soon.
I saw that.
This year? December.
I heard it was this year, bro. But I don't know, man, because all these different delays and all this shit going on, bro.
We just gotta see.
I don't know, because I doubt it, no, bro. Because like, I could have sworn the Marvels was the last thing we were gonna get this year. Because remember, Echo was supposed to come out this month, and they delayed it till January. Yeah. So unless
I think Mario might fact check that right now.
Yeah, we'll see. I think they said holiday of 2023, but after they delayed
everything
Echo
else
and everything and shit, I'm sure they're gonna delay this till next year.
I mean, fuck, man.
But yeah, man, it reminded me of that What If episode where it's like, listen, Doctor Strange, no matter what you try to do to save Christine Palmer, it's a fixed point in time. You can't change it. She dies in every universe, and it's like, damn, that's crazy, right? So he's trying to fight Sylvie. Sylvie keeps besting him. It's like, in order to stop me, you're gonna have to kill me. Every line, right? And he was kind of getting tired of it. Like, I know. At this point, it reminds me of Endgame. Remember when Captain America? I could do this all day. Yeah, I know. I know. I dropped that bar years ago. Type shit. Like it was. I thought that was funny, bro.
That's how Mario. That's Mario. When he sees men, I could do this all day.
What are you talking about?
That's what Mario says before he gets crazy, gets freaky. I could do this all day.
They're like, yeah, I know.
Nah, but it drops December.
Fuck.
Yeah.
December what?
It didn't say just December.
Dude.
Yeah, you see, but
how many episodes?
I don't know.
Well, the last one was
dude.
8 or 10.
You know, and
they were shorter episodes.
Yeah, I think for that, the only way that's gonna be really difficult to review, man. We have to come up with something.
Yeah, man.
How to do that, guys. But anyways, that's for the future. We'll see. That's some future problems.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just time slip. What you mean? Nah, I'm finna time slip before. I'm gonna time slip before they took Aunt May's body to the morgue, man.
No, it's fuck. I've never saw season 1.
Wait, Mario not laughing at that?
I never saw season 1.
No, I'm talking.
What?
Remember Aunt May from No Way Home?
I thought you were mentioning that. Like, I'm on that. That must
No,
be
Aunt May from No Way Home.
Yeah.
Remember her situation? I said I'm a time slip before they took her body to the morgue.
Oh, yeah. You're a bitch for that. You're a bitch.
He just now got it.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about, like, they must have did that in What If.
No, man. Hector, if we're being serious, Hector will time slip to like stop me from breaking his toys, man.
That was a canon event, man. Every time I'm trying to stop you, it always breaks, no matter what. Even when I'm like physically holding you down, I look at my toy, it just breaks. It's like, how? It's like, how?
That's funny as fuck.
But I mean, we've told this story many times.
Grown ass Hector holding down 5-year-old me, like, what the fuck? Who are you?
For real, but like my toy still.
But your kid self breaks it instead.
Like, no matter what, it's like, how is that possible? Just really quick, guys. We mentioned this before, but in case I don't know, we got new listeners or something. You know, back then when we were kids, we'd have action figures. We actually had a childhood, right, guys? And I know you guys. Some of y'all motherfuckers, if you guys are younger, you guys were iPad kids.
That's facts.
Y'all didn't have no childhood.
You a bitch.
But we was out there in the mud, literally playing with toys and shit, rocks and shit. But anyways, we had toys. And Hav would come over and he'd break them. He'd be throwing them and shit. He'd throw them in the air and shit. Like, I don't know what's going on, bro. Like, it's a true story.
No, yeah.
It's
And then
true.
Hector would be like, "Hi, what the fuck are you doing, bro?" I'm like, what you mean, bro? Hulk hit him. He has to go that high.
That's true, dude. You would do that. It's like I'm like, why would you do that? It's like, dude, it's the fucking Hulk. It's like the Hulk literally just hit Spider-Man. What are you talking about? I'm like, bro, no, man.
The Hulk, in my mind, like the Hulk hit Spider-Man, right?
Yeah,
so I would take Spider-Man, I
Fly. No, but you throw, dude. I remember. Like, yo, Mario, he literally had the toys like this with both hands. He hits it, right? And he drops Hulk, right? And then he charges the toy like it's a frisbee. Like this.
What the fuck?
Like, what the fuck?
Yo, Mario, not only that, he'd have a toy. We'd be like, yo, he's like, yo, check this shit out. And I'm like, what? He throws it in the air really high, and he's like, run. We run. He's like, he throws it in the air. He's like, He's like, oh shit, he disconnected his mic. Mario, can you hear it?
No, he disconnected.
Well, when it plugs in, see if you can.
Hello.
Yeah, there we go.
What the Mario? Fucking Javi's laughing so hard he disconnected the mic.
Bro, it's because you're reminding me of these.
Bro, like, why would you do that? Like you throw it in the air, Mario. Well, like, what the? This is true, guys. So, anyways, that's the story. That's the background.
I said run. That shit gonna hit you, bro. I don't know, man.
And so before Javi when Javi would come over to my house, bro, I'd hide my toys.
He's a
bro.
bitch for that.
I'd hide my toys.
That's
man.
okay though, because I would just turn on his Xbox without his permission.
Why would you do that? Do you remember doing that?
Okay, so I'll be real
Do you
with you,
remember
bro.
doing that?
I'll be real with you. I do remember.
But
I
why
think the reason I
that?
did it is because in my upbringing, I was kind of like spoiled as a kid, so I felt like I could do whatever I wanted at my crib.
Yeah,
So-
I could tell. This motherfucker throwing toys and everything. Bro, the only time I ever got toys was legit on Christmas, bro. That's it. If my shit broke, actually, some of the broken toys, I would still play with them and stuff. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm from the slums, guys. But Javi, this motherfucker spoiled as hell, throwing them and shit, playing ultimate frisbee with them. Like, what's going on, man?
That's actually funny.
But anyways, I guess you want to talk about that really quick? Or like when you said turning on my consoles and
yeah,
shit?
because I guess Hector's told the story many times where like,
but in case
he was outside the house doing shit with his dad or whatever, and he would come home, and like my mom would be over.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, like, what's up, Tia? What's up? And Irma, what are you doing here? It's like, oh, we just came to visit. And like, oh, like, I see my uncle. I see my aunt. What the hell? Where's Javi? Where's Javi at? It's like, oh, creo que está en tu cuarto. I think he's in your room.
Or like dice, por anda. Like,
yeah, he's over there. Por allá anda. He's over there. I don't know. Go find him. And then Hector would find me in his room.
Bro, Mario, I'd find this man legit on my Xbox 360, bro, just playing. And I walk in my room, I'm like, what the fuck? And he just looks at me, yo, bro, what's up, man? You want to play? And I'm like,
you think?
I'm like, yeah.
I play that bitch when you're not here either way.
I was like, yeah, like sure, I'll play, but like we'd play and we'd whatever we do, right? But it pissed me off that like you'd just be like fucking around with my shit. Like imagine like right now, right? Let's say. I don't know. We had baby cousins, whatever. They'd go over your house, and then they're on your PS5, and you come home or some shit, and they're like on your shit.
Nah, I feel you on that. My cousins from Ohio, bro. My cousins from Ohio. Whenever they visit,
I remember you told me this.
we would be playing, and they would just come in my room, and you would hear them in the back with me talking to them. I'd be like, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if you would heard me say this. I was like, okay, guys, I'm gonna hop off, but you're not allowed to be in this room. Don't touch my stuff, all right? Yeah. Because I'm afraid they're gonna fuck around and like.
They'd ask to play and shit. I remember.
They ask, but when I'm around, I'll let them. Like, yeah, you can go ahead and play. Just
they'd ask.
How old are we talking?
They were probably like fucking like 11, 10. Some of them were like 14. But either way, like I trusted the older ones more. But it's those fucking young ones. No,
man. Either way, even if they're older, it's kind. I think it's kind of like a respect thing.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? It's like instead of just like fucking around with it, you'd at least want someone like even though it's cool. Oh, you're my cousin. It's cool.
Yeah.
At least ask.
Yeah.
Just ask.
I think there's only one person like I genuinely don't care if I walk in, he's using my shit. And that's my brother.
Really?
Yeah.
Deadass?
He would ask me when I have my PC. He would ask me like, "Yo, bro, can I go on your PC real quick?" I was like, "Dude, you never gotta ask me to go on my PC.
You're my dog.
No, well, you two, no. I would.
I gotta ask?
I mean, yeah, actually, yeah. I would say yes, like 10 times out of 10.
No, he comes home from work, and I'm literally just in his room on his PC.
I would be like,
"What are you doing here, bro?"
Yeah, I'd be like, "What are you doing here?" Like, why are you on my PC?
Listen, Mario, I'm gonna be real with you, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Obviously, I'm not gonna say shit, man.
Obviously,
I'm not saying shit, bro. I wasn't raised that way,
dude. And like we're kids, man. We're probably like 8 years old, 9, like something like that, 10. And I always wonder, I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with Hyde? I'm not even kidding. I'm like, why is he like this? Why?
What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
Like, actually, bro, I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? Like, what is he? Like, he's my cousin. I love him. We fuck around and stuff. But at the end of the day, once he leaves, I'm like, why is he like that? Why does he do that?
What do you mean by that?
That's funny.
You know what I mean? But no joke, it got to the point where I think I would hide my Xbox or some shit too, man. I remember like hiding my shit, bro. Every time, like, oh, my mom was like, oh, Tia, she's gonna come visit. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
How far are they?
Shit.
They should be like 15 minutes away. Oh, fuck.
He starts running.
For sure, I did hide my toys and my good toys. My good toys for sure, bro. For sure, man. Funny. No disrespect, but come on, man. Like,
I had to look out for myself. Man.
No, and actually, now that you think about it, where the fuck were your toys? Why didn't you bring yours?
They were always broke.
I don't think he ever brought his toys.
I don't know. I can't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember you ever bringing your toys. You'd be fucking around with mine and shit. That makes me curious. I'm like, were you breaking yours too? Do you remember that?
I had some broken toys.
Yeah.
Even he was breaking his own toys. Man. That's crazy.
But like I said, if it broke, I'll be like, oh man. And like I just go buy new ones.
No, dude, not with me. The only time I'd get toys was on Christmas. That's it, dude.
That's every 12 months, bro.
Every 12 months, yeah, I had to make them last, dude. But anyways, guys, that's a quick lore, right? Background. I know we talked about it many times, but in case some of you guys are new,
oh my god, bro.
listening. But yeah, so we're at that scene, right? They were talking about where Loki is like trying to stop Sylvie and stuff, and it got to the point where it got super repetitive that he who remains, right? Shout out to Games Radar, man. I'm shouting you out because I have some notes here. He who remains freezes time. And we're like, whoa, what the fuck? Asking Loki how long he's been trying to do this. He then explains that his see you soon as he dies was actually pretty literal. He always knew that it would come back to this moment. And that he also explains that the temporal loom is a failsafe too. When it's overloaded, it will delete all branches but the sacred timeline every time. The TVA may be destroyed, but they'll just rebuild it. And Loki will always lose. And then that is unless he kills Sylvie and stops he who remains from dying.
That makes sense, though. It makes sense how he said the loom was a failsafe that destroys all timelines except for the sacred timeline.
Yeah,
that makes sense because that's why in episode 5, the TVA crew, all went back to their original timelines because that's what their timelines were in the sacred timeline. And it also explains why Loki didn't die because he's technically from the sacred timeline from like the first Avengers movie. So it makes sense why like nobody died necessarily. They all just kind of went back to normal because there wouldn't be a TVA. There wouldn't have been anything else because that fucking loom exploded and like...
Yeah, dude.
And it just kind of blasted everything back to the sacred timeline. So it makes sense. So like when he was explaining all that, I was like, oh,
that all makes sense, dude. And that kind of makes it more. It makes it more.
And I'm not gonna lie. My window was open, and from a distance, I heard doom doom doom. No,
bro. You know what we should do?
The saw music.
Dude, we should fucking... Oh, it's copyright. I was going to say, when we have a soundboard, we should have those effects and shit.
Yeah, bro.
That would be funny.
That'd be funny as fuck.
But yeah, I think it's copyright would get us there. But yeah, so that's what happens, right? And Loki's like, oh, shit, man. I got to kill fucking Sylvie.
Yeah, dude.
Like, fuck, dude. And at that point, if I was Loki, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah, low-key.
I'm like, okay.
Low
I mean,
key.
if it means...
No, low key. You know
what I mean? Like, if it means...
Look, I get it. Like,
everything.
in his place, like, oh, like, that's my friend, though. And, like, we work together. But it's like, hey, man, for the greater good.
You got to do it.
I guess at that point, are we just Doctor Strange? Remember, he was like, for the greater good of the multiverse. Their death means infinitely less. You know what I mean? Remember that from No Way Home shit?
I remember.
So I feel like we
at least that was my initial thought, bro. I'm like, yo, if this means to keep everything from, like, back to normal and stuff, I mean...
That's crazy, bro. You kill your mom, bro?
That's a whole different question. Man.
Well,
oh my god, no, that's a whole tangent right there. That's a whole tangent right there.
What you mean? My mom? Fuck it, man. She had a good run. She had a good run. But if it was, hey, Hob, if you asked me if it was 100 puppies though, I ain't doing it.
I ain't doing it.
That's another inside joke, guys. with Mario. Fuck, we gotta keep explaining these insights.
No, that's gonna be another tangent, bro. That whole thing with your toys, that was like not.
No,
no
I'm
joke.
okay. I'll
That
sum
was-
it up. I'll sum it up really quickly. I gave because back then Mario, when we were like 18 or something, we were 18 or 19 years old. I gave Mario. Mario loves dogs. Okay, I gave Mario an ultimatum, not like a fictional ultimatum. I'm like, yo,
what's the word?
Scenario or some shit.
Hypothetical.
I'm like, yo, Mario, because he really loves dogs. I'm like, yo, Mario, would you save 100 puppies or your mom if it came to it? And Mario said Mario said he saved 100 puppies and let his mom die. And like, obviously, we're all reacting. Hey, are you guys listening to what I'm saying, guys? You guys are probably listening to this like, what the fuck is wrong with him? Yeah, I don't know, right? And we were all reacting that way. We're like, no fucking way. I was arguing with him. Like, get this through your thick skull, what you're saying. And he's like, dude, I know what I'm saying or whatever. And so, point is, the inside joke was that he would let his mom die over 100 puppies because his mom is old and had a good run. As to the puppies are puppies and they haven't had their life yet. No, so that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Really quick, Mario, you change your mind on that?
Yeah, bro.
Like,
I feel like you brought this up before.
No, yeah, but just in case, man. Just in case motherfuckers don't know. Yeah. But my thing is, Mario, what the fuck were you thinking back then, man?
You've asked me that before too.
Just answer it again.
I forget.
Were you not thinking?
No, I mean, I was.
But like, what changed? I grew up.
Yeah.
I mean, because we were like what, 19 or something?
Yeah, we were around there.
We were like 19 or something.
No, Javi wasn't there for that when it first happened.
Yeah,
not when it first happened.
No, but we told him.
You told him about it
told
because
me,
you were
yeah.
at Portillo's when y'all told me.
Yeah. Who was there? It was just me, you, and Everardo.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was
when
just
it
us
originally
three.
happened.
Yeah. I don't think Danny was there or Javi was there.
No, yeah.
But Everardo was there.
Yeah, Everardo was
Shouts
there.
to Everardo. If you guys don't know Everardo, he's been in some reviews. He's been in our Everything Everywhere.
I think the last one he was
review.
in was John Wick.
Yeah, he's been in our John Wick review. I think those were the only 2 reviews he's been in as a guest. But anyways, guys, I know, right? Crazy. I don't know what the fuck Mario was thinking. Unbelievable. That's like one of the top 10 like moments where I'll never forget about Mario. It's like, like I just don't fucking know. But anyways, guys. So after that whole dialogue, right, with
He Who Remains.
He Who Remains and everything, Loki said, "No, fuck that shit. I ain't killing Sylvie.
She too bad."
No, here's the thing, right? Is I always thought like they had like a love connection, and I know it's kind of weird because she's Loki and shit, but like I always felt that tension. You know what I mean? Like not just like as a friend, but like I felt like there was like something more.
So
might be weird.
I'll be honest.
I get it,
I honestly didn't see that.
Really?
No, I saw that. I
man.
saw that there was a connection there, but I just kind of thought it as like a connection within friends.
No,
That's
yeah,
why at the end of season 1, when Loki stops Sylvie from killing He Who Remains, do you remember when they shared that kiss?
They kissed?
Yeah, so they kissed at the end of season 1, and I was like,
fuck.
and when they kissed, I was like,
You see, but wait, there you go. I mean, I that's what I thought though. I thought they had like a little love thing.
No.
What was the reason for that?
No, because she did that to like to get his guard down. Because remember, she kisses him and then she opens a portal behind him and pushes him in, and then closes the portal. So now she's all right.
I so far with it, man.
With Tom Hiddleston.
No, Mario, dude. That's Mario, dude.
I don't know. That's
I thought Mario would be He Who Remains.
Whoa! When I'm done with him,
no one remains.
No one remains. When I'm done with the multiverse, no one remains.
He'd be like, He'd be like, yo, Kane, what the fuck is that? Oh, those are my remains. It's just Mario laid on the ground and shit.
Those are my remains, and it's just bottom halves of males parts. Like, I just needed the bottom. I just needed the bottom, buddy. That's all I need.
This is my remains. That's funny.
When I'm done, no one remains.
Here.
That's funny as fuck. Oh my god. But anyways, okay, so Mario, what did you think, bro? Do you thought there was like a love interest or friend?
Nah, I'd love interest for sure.
Yeah,
I thought
so too. But I guess, but then again, this season was definitely like more like
they didn't show any of that.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That's why I was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, I had a feeling it was just friends.
And so Loki's like, you know what? Fuck that, man. I got a better idea. How about I just destroy the temporal loom? And he decides to destroy it. Right?
Well, you got to remember he
Yeah, what's up
time
there?
slips to when it's back. He time slips first back to that laboratory where like he gathered the guys, he gathered the crew together, and remember everything was turning into spaghetti. And then he's able to figure out the time slipping where he froze everything. That's when he has that conversation with Sylvie.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, let me guess, you were supposed to kill me to stop all this." And he's like, "I don't know if I can." And then they had this conversation where basically Loki comes to the conclusion of like, instead of fixing something, I think we should just replace it
Yeah.
with something
That's what you said,
better. But Loki comes to the conclusion where he's like, "No, I don't think we're supposed to fix it. I think we should just I'm supposed to replace it."
Yeah.
And he's like, and he remembers that He Who Remains was in the position that he was to keep the timelines in check.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, "But He Who Remains is gone, and that's what's causing all this bullshit. So I have to kill Sylvie, but I can't kill Sylvie because she's my friend, and like I care about her." So he's like, "If I can't fix this problem, I can replace it."
Yeah.
And that's when he time slips back to the moment from the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
And then that's when he decides to push everyone out the way, and he goes down to the doorway.
Yeah.
And he closes the door behind him, and Mobius and Sylvie are like, "Loki, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm going to go out there." And then he says a line. I can pull it up. But Loki says a line, which I saw people on social media, especially TikTok, referencing that the line he says to Mobius and Sylvie before he walks out into the radiation and over to the, you know what I mean, does his whole thing, is a line that he says in the first Thor movie. It's a line that he says to Odin, because I think like Loki was about to die, even though we know he doesn't die, right? Because he comes back in Avengers. But I think he was about to die, and he says something to Odin, as like a way of saying like, "Hey, it's okay, like I'm gonna sacrifice myself," type shit. And that same line that he delivers in the first Thor movie, he says to Mobius and Sylvie before he walks out the doorway. I'm gonna try to look up the quote right now.
Okay. Do you want me to continue off? Continue on what's going on, or I think you could get on?
No, yeah, you can. Yeah, I'm gonna try to look for.
So we left off after Loki's like pushing everyone out the way. He decides to go out, right? And without the suit, he starts going into the radiation to the that
temporal loop
near the temporal loop. Yeah, where you have to activate it. And as he's moving, man, his appearance is changing, man. He gets his like OG Loki suit, even the horns, like he's transforming as of like this was supposed to happen. Like he's not dying, because I was like, oh shit, is he gonna die or some shit? But no, he's not.
What's it called? That suit, is that the
that's his suit. That's his Loki suit.
That's like from the original Avengers movie?
No,
or is that
Avengers?
comic accurate suit?
Actually, good question. I'm trying to remember
I don't remember. I was like, was that when I saw it? I'm like, okay, that's badass. But I'm like, is that from the Avengers movie?
I'm trying to remember.
Did we see this already?
I don't know. I don't think
so.
No, it's not. It's not. I don't think it's a comic book suit. More so that it's just like an alternate Loki suit, but he gives him the iconic horns.
Yeah.
He gives him the horns. But anyways, I pulled up the quote. So obviously, so like I said, right, he goes down to the doorway, he closes the door behind them, and Loki and Mobius are like, "No, what are you doing, blah, blah, blah," right? And Loki kind of accepts what he has to do. He basically accepts, like, I know what I have to do in order for me to fix what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's when he turns back to Loki and Sylvie, and he goes, like, he says, "I know what I want. I know what kind of god I need to be." And then he looks back at them and he goes, "For you, for all of us." That's what he says to Odin before he dies, right, quote unquote.
Okay.
In Thor 1, where like
exactly
where he's like, "Father, let go."
Yeah.
For you, for all of us. So he says the same line when he thought he was gonna die in Thor 1.
Yeah.
He says the same line here. And so he says, "I know what kind of god I need to be." So he accepts his fate and realizes that he has to do something that he doesn't want to do, but he realizes he has to for you, for all of us. And that is what you were saying. He walks out into the radiation, and his suit starts transforming into this classic kind of Loki suit, this kind of dark brownish suit with the horns and everything.
Yeah.
And he uses his magic and shoots at the temporal loom and destroys all the timelines. Like all the lines, all the strands are like brown and black.
Yeah.
So he destroys and essentially just killed the multiverse. But then what he does is that the strands are kind of like floating around him, and he grabs all of them and he makes a stairway to like heaven, I guess. Shout out Led Zeppelin or whatever. But he kind of goes and sits on this throne, and he has all the timelines in his grist.
The throne on the citadel at the end of time.
Yeah, so he basically sits at the end of time where He Who Remains was. Sits on the throne, and he has all those timelines around both of his hands, all those strands, and he uses his magic to ignite all of them and basically give life to the timelines. Yeah. And what he does is he takes all the timelines and he kind of like turns them, like twists them in a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's when the camera pans out and we get a tree.
Like a tree.
An image of a tree. Anyone know what that tree is?
What that tree is?
Yes. Does anybody know what that tree is?
Have we seen it before?
If you know anything, okay, two things. If you know anything about Norse mythology, or if you've played the PS5, the God of War games, you should know what the tree is.
Well, wait, is that the tree we see?
Why I haven't. Mar, you played the God of War games.
I played.
Yeah, I played it too, but the only tree that I can visit.
Tree of Life.
It's the Tree of Life.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, wait.
Yeah. So obviously we know Loki, Thor, Odin, all those characters in the Marvel universe are based on Norse mythology. Yeah. And we also know like the God of War games dealt with Norse mythology and shit. So in Norse mythology, the Tree of Life, also known, it's a weird word. I don't even know how to pronounce it. This is the word. It's like Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil.
Yeah, something like that.
Yggdrasil, something like that.
So this is basically called the Tree of Life. And in Norse mythology, the Tree of Life, because like in Norse mythology, there's different realms. There's 9 realms. There's 9 different worlds that you can travel to. One's like a hell world. One's an ice world. One's like a, there's like different realms and shit, right? In the Norse mythology, the Tree of Life is the tree. It's basically the thing that holds the 9 realms together. It's what allows you to travel from one realm to another. So what Loki did was he created the multiverse's Tree of Life from Norse mythology as a way for people to kind of like go from one realm to another. The realms being multiverses, different multiverses and shit. And so that's what that tree is. And if you go on Google Images, right, and you look up the Tree of Life from Norse mythology, this is one of the pictures that you get, which looks like the tree that we see in the Loki show, right? See how it looks like the tree and stuff? Because it looks like a bunch of branches that tangle together. So this is also cool because on social media, a lot of people pointed out that in the first Thor movie, Thor is talking with Jane Foster. And they're like getting to know each other. And Thor he drops a line. It's kind of like a line where you just kind of, it's whatever. You listen to it, you're like, okay, whatever. But like now people are like, oh my God, is that when Thor tells Jane that there is a Tree of Life that connects the realms together, that connects our worlds together and shit like that. He's like, that's why I can go from Asgard to here using the Bifrost, because I can travel to any realm I want because there is a Tree of Life that holds all the realms together. Which people are like, yeah, that's Norse mythology and that's Thor, I get it, right? But now, finally, after all these years later, we finally get to see the MCU's Tree of Life that was referenced in the first Thor movie. Yeah. And obviously, because we're dealing with Norse mythology, we get to see the actual Tree of Life that holds the realms together, quote unquote, the realms, but only the realms in this sense are the different multiverses. So when I saw that tree, I was like, why does that look familiar? And so what I did was I just finished the episode, and then I went on Google and I was like, tree Loki episodes. You know what I mean? I looked it up because I'm like, I know I've seen that goddamn tree from somewhere. What is that? And I did some research. I was like, oh, because now I'm getting flashbacks to God of War, and I'm like, that's where I seen the tree. And so that I wanted to bring that up, basically.
Yeah, the tree of life, man. So he's essentially people were. I did see people were kind of confused. Like, is he the new He Who Remains? Not necessarily. He's not.
That's how I interpreted it.
I don't think. No, really? I don't think he is. I don't think he's
too.
I don't think. No, I don't think he is. People obviously it's what is it the God of Stories, right? That's
people have brought that up. Do you know anything about that?
God of Stories. All I know is it's
a version of Loki.
It's
in
a
the
version
comics,
of Loki
right?
in the comics. It's very recent. Back in I want to say 2014.
Oh, that's not that.
Yeah, it's pretty recent. It's not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not far off. God of Stories is essentially similar to. here's the thing, right? It's similar to kind of like He Who Remains, where he is kind of like in check. He's keeping everything in check, right, from not crumbling in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of also leads the question to, I've seen some other people talk about the custodian of the multiverse, right? That's another comic book character, like a weird alien. Like, look, he has like a weird like tall egg head. I don't even fucking know. He's a weird motherfucker. You can look him up, Pop. And his job is essentially what Loki is doing. We're keeping things in check. He's not He Who He Remains, but he is a custodian of the multiverse, the custodian of time, making sure everything runs smoothly.
This motherfucker.
And so, let me see.
What the?
Atlas?
Atlas, yes. You see how he looks, bro? What the fuck?
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, that guy. What's his name? Custodian of the multiverse? Or
It's custodian of the multiverse, but his name is Atlas.
Atlas. Yeah, so that guy. That dude's OP, and that's essentially his job. So I have seen people like comparing, is Loki
Atlas
that version, or is it the God of Stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm mostly leaning to God of Stories because that's exactly what he's doing. That is very similar to what he does. And knowing Kevin Feige, man, and knowing like the recent Marvel projects, he likes to use modern storylines.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that one's pretty modern. I know, right, me saying 2014 is pretty modern, but like, dude, comparative the history of
back in
Marvel
the 60s
comics,
and
yeah,
shit.
dude, it's definitely
2014. Mid 2000s is modern.
Yeah,
2004, 2005 era, that's modern in
Yeah.
the comic book world, I feel.
Yeah, so it's definitely modern, and knowing Kevin Feige, man, he likes his modern stories. I mean, same thing. He got he used he said he's gonna use the modern Secret Wars to inspire like the movie and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm guessing. Like I know some people are into what's it called? Are split between those three things.
Mm-hmm.
He is the He Who Remains, the God of Stories, or the custodian of the multiverse and stuff. And
All of the above?
all of the above, right? One thing for sure, me personally, I don't think he is He Who Remains. I think he's either the custodian of the multiverse or he is the God of Stories. And to me, I'm kind of leaning to God of Stories just because what I said before, right? It's a kind of recent comics book storyline, and legit the way it deals with time, it deals with Loki being in control of essentially the multiverses and stories, right? Quote unquote. And I think that's where I'm like leaning. But I could definitely see the other side where people are talking about the custodian of the multiverse.
Yeah, I could see that too.
But either way, like we don't even. I don't know. I just think the God of Stories maybe fits.
It makes more sense.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
I think, bro, He Who Remains was just the name of that Kang. I don't think it's a title.
Well,
I think it's his name. So
okay. That's real quick. That's another thing too that they changed from the comics, because in the comic books, He Who Remains is not Kang. He Who Remains is a completely entity from Kang. Here in the MCU, they made it to where it's a Kang variant.
yes,
You know what I mean?
yes.
So, but yeah, I just wanted to. I don't think I ever mentioned that, but I just wanted to mention that, guys.
Yeah.
But anyways,
But I was gonna say, I think that's just like what his name was. It's not so much a title.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why when people, that's why.
No, you're right.
It makes sense for like, well, is he the next He Who Remains? It's like, well, no,
Quote unquote,
because
Kangs.
his name is Loki. Like, what the fuck? He can't be He Who Remains. That's like saying, well, is he the next Iron Man? It's like, well, no, because
No, I know what you mean,
that's
bro.
Captain America.
Yeah, I know. What you
So
mean.
I think that's just his name. So I think he's taking the role that He Who Remains had, as being the guy that overlooked the timeline, looking over the sacred timeline, like how he was before.
Yeah.
Only instead of having a fail-safe temporal loom that destroyed all timelines, he instead uses his Asgard magic to keep all the timelines alive and safe in his grasp by forming it into the Tree of Life, which we now see in the TVA has symbols of those around the headquarters. Is this Tree of Life?
Yeah.
And I was a little confused. I'm like, is this an alternate reality? Did we just switch the future? Like, where are we? What are we doing right now? You know what I mean? But I guess it's just like we're just back to normal time and stuff like that. And now we're catching up with B-15 and Mobius and Sylvie. And
Oh yeah, you want to talk about that?
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just basically cut back, and now this little Tree of Life symbol are all over the headquarters. We see B-15 looking over the timelines and stuff like that. Now you see in the monitor. You see the monitor, right? The timelines is no longer multiple strands going into a tunnel, but now it's that tree symbol again. You're like, oh, everything looking cool, right? And then B-15 goes over to Mobius because they're looking for variants of He Who Remains, and they were like, hey, so any word on any variants on the timelines? He's like, well, we did get a little scuffle, a little thing going on in Earth 616. But looks like they got it taken care of, so nothing to worry about. Which we know is a reference to Quantumania.
Yeah, I caught that too.
Yeah, because that's Kang from the Quantumania, and they were like, oh yeah, like there was a little thing going on in Earth 616, but they got it taken care of, so we're good. And I was like, oh shit, Quantumania connection, nice.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's what they were talking about, because they're looking for Kang.
I knew it was referencing something. I was like, oh, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, man.
You could miss it. But essentially, and then what? Also talk about like the very end where Mobius decides.
No, yeah, that's what it leads into. Is that after they talk about that, Mobius is kind of like he has this conversation with B-15 where he basically was like, you know what, I want to kind of like leave. He's talking about leaving the TVA, which is crazy because we know this entire 2 seasons of Loki, Mobius was like, the TVA is what I know. Yeah. It's the only life I knew, and it's the only life, like my life is dedicated to the TVA. But now, after learning the truth that he had a whole life with kids and he was a single father, and like his love for jet skis, that he was just kind of like, I think there's something more than this. So I think I want to go and explore that. And because I guess they had came to him to take a place to be as part of the TVA council, but he turns it down. So instead, B-15 decides to become part of that council, where that one evil bitch from that Forgettable episode where it's like, we got to prune all timelines.
Oh,
that council shit. Remember that?
Yeah.
So now she becomes a member of that council, and obviously the goal for the TVA is no longer pruning timelines, all this bullshit, right? Yeah. It's just to protect the timelines. It's just to kind of like keep things in check the way that it used to be, without Kang in the picture. Now it's obviously Loki. Yeah. And so we see Mobius travel back to his sacred timeline self. And he's watching himself from a distance, his sacred timeline self playing with his kids and shit. And he's kind of watching, and he's kind of has this feeling of happiness, of this feeling of peace. Yeah. Knowing that, like, that his life was moving on there. And you kind of get this idea, like, what's Mobius thinking? Is he going to want to go back? Does he just come and do visits of his old life as a reminder? Or what's he going to do? And then that's when we get Sylvie to come in, and they have this little conversation. I forget what exactly they say. Like, what was the conversation between?
Do you remember, Mario?
No, the one with Moby and Loki.
Sylvie and Mobius.
What the conversation was about?
Yeah.
Basically, it was just them. Like it was Sylvie asking Mobius, like, "Oh, is this really what you're gonna do?" And then after that, Mobius is like, "Oh, where are you going?" And she's just like, "Anywhere," or like somewhere, some shit like that. We don't know where she's going, basically. But that was basically the conversation.
It doesn't and I think Mobius was like, "Hey, I just need a minute," because I think he is gonna go back to TVA, but like I guess he's just
wants to enjoy what was his life.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I pulled it up here. So basically, Sylvie just comes to visit him, and he's like, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh, never look, never know," because he never wanted to go back and see what his. Because remember the whole thing was like, Sylvie was like, "You're a bitch, man. Like, you don't want to go and see what life you had. Like, you don't want to know what was your life before the TVA." Because remember, all their memories got wiped, and he was like, "No, not really." But then he kind of gets this feeling of like, now I do. So he sees himself. He sees his own life, what he was before the TVA. He's playing with his kids, and so Sylvie comes and meets up with him, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh, it's like you said, you never see, you never know." Yeah. So I'm just watching what my life was before the TVA, and I think it was Mobius who's like, "It's a little weird that Loki's not here. It feels weird." And they're like, "Yeah, like, it feels like we're missing somebody, but, it is what it is. He did it for us. He gave us a chance. He was giving us and the other branches of timelines a chance to live for what he did. He sacrificed himself," which is another thing I want to bring up, is that what Loki did was somewhat of a sacrifice. So it was a sacrifice, in a way, because if you remember in episode 5 of Loki, we get that scene where Loki's in the pub with Sylvie, and when Sylvie was like, "What's your mission in all this? Like, why are you trying to save the TVA and all this bullshit?" And he's like, "I don't want to be alone. I want to save my friends." So basically, at the root of everything, he just didn't want to be alone. Yet he realizes in order for this timeline to be fixed, there has to be someone in the throne where He Who Remains was, to keep the timelines in check. So that's why he says to them, "I know what kind of God I need to be for all of us." So he sacrifices what his want, which was to not be alone, and go and sit on that throne to keep the timelines in check, and will spend the rest of his existence for centuries, eternity, alone.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of reflect on that and be like, yeah, it's weird that he's not here, but he did it for us. We got to make the most of it. And Sylvie's like, all right, well, you coming? And Loki just Mobius looks at his old life of himself with his kids, and he's like, I think I might hang around for a bit. And that's when you hear Sylvie leave through the portal, and you just see like that shot of Mobius, the sunsets hitting him and stuff. And then we cut to that shot of Loki in the throne, and you can gotta get the idea that because he now oversees multiverses, he was listening to that conversation. And he has this almost like bittersweet kind of smile, knowing that his friends are okay, but like he had to sacrifice what he wanted. He had to lose in order for them to win type shit. So you kind of get he kind of throws this like smile, this little smirk that feels bittersweet because he's at peace that his friends are okay, but at what cost? And then that's just how the episode ends.
Yeah, I mean, and then really quickly too, because I have like this short little paragraph or shot. It's Escapist magazine, man. That at the end, right? The TVA has amended its mission: track every variant of He Who Remains and leave no stone unturned. The TVA prunes Renslayer to prevent Timely from receiving the guidebook in 1863.
Yes.
And Mobius tells B-15 he is leaving the TVA. So I guess, yeah, Mobius eventually does.
Mm-hmm. And then we see Renslayer at the end of time because she got pruned, right? And then you hear the screech, the roar from a distance, which we know is Eliath, that smoke monster from season 1, the one that classic Loki tamed and shit. Do you remember that fucking thing?
Yeah, I remember.
So you hear the little roar, right? And you're like, oh shit, she's about to get eaten because Eliath eats any living thing that gets pruned into the end of time. And I was actually talking to this with Mario. He texted me. He was like, hey man, so I didn't understand that part. So I had to explain it to him. And I go, you got to remember, man, that monster thing eats anything that goes in the end of time.
Yeah.
So either she gets rocked
or
Marvel Studios is going to find a way to make her live.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know,
because they don't really show her get killed. You just see her look out to the distance. And you hear the lightning and the thunderstorm, and you can just assume that she's met up with Eliath, and like she's either gonna get rocked or the MCU is gonna find a way to bring her back.
Yeah, and the big thing, man, that is Victor Timely is essentially kind of the one that we saw earlier in the show where he gave the guidebook whatever through the window.
Yeah,
that's no longer in place, man. That Victor Timely is just gonna grow up to be normal
or whatever.
Shit.
But the thing is that Victor Timely it's mentioned in the show that he was the first Kang. Like he's the one that, because of the TVA guidebook, he learned about the temporal loom and all this bullshit. Like he was like the first one that kind of sets up for the generations. So my thing is avoiding that.
Sorry if you guys hear background noise, guys. What the fuck?
Now
we're in a detailing where they detail cars and shit. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, man, they're just putting stickers in my car right now, bro. No worries. They're putting decals and shit.
Oh my god.
No, but
decals.
Decals.
Lightning McQueen decals.
But fuck, where was I?
We were talking about how that Victor Timely was OG Kang, and he was the one that's setting up everything.
That he was the one that basically, because he was the scientific one. He was like the smart one that like learned about the temporal loom and the machines and all that shit. So like, without him in the picture, so how does that set up for the future Kangs, like the ones that we saw in the Quantumania post-credit scene?
Yeah.
Are they still around, or technically is it one of those like, is it like the domino effect where it's like since this first domino never got knocked over, the rest can't fall in place?
Exactly. Right. So I don't know, man. I'm curious
to see how they explain that.
Yeah, and also I'm assuming this is like Loki's not going to necessarily make an appearance anymore. Like this is it.
Yeah, because Tom Hiddleston went on social media and said that the last 14 years of playing this character has come to an end, and that this is goodbye, and that he was, honored and blessed to have played this part, and like he's treating it like this was a finale. And if you pay attention, this last episode had no post-credit scene saying that there was going to be a season 3.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like the end. It's like is this the end story of Loki in the MCU?
And yeah, so like that's the question, right? Is this the end? And another question that I have is, not a question, because I'm assuming he's not gonna like come back or whatever. Because with the God of Stories, Loki, right? He oversees the multiverse and stuff, but like in the comics, he's still a villain. So like sees what's going on and shit, and he intervenes. But like he intervenes like in a bad way if he wants to, right? So my thing is, this Loki, he's not like that, right? And that's another thing too that I've been seeing a lot of people, one of the best MCU villains, and I'm like, is he?
Yeah.
Is he really a villain?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, no, man. Like, that's what I've been seeing. Like, Tom Hiddleston's best MCU villain. Blah blah blah. I'm like,
yeah.
He's not a villain, man. To me, he's not a villain.
No, yeah, like in the beginning he was.
Yeah, but
like phases,
now,
like phase 1 through.
You can't say he's the best villain when
he went through that whole arc of being good and shit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I feel like his sudden switch in season 1 is something that just still doesn't sit right with me. I would have liked to have seen it like progressively turn good.
You know, and like I said, many people with that clip, because we had a clip that went kind of viral. People disagreeing with us, people agreeing with us, and people were saying like they did show that though, like gradually. That it wasn't instant.
Not in season 1, I feel like.
That's what people were saying.
No, bro, because in episode 1, he literally just sees a recap of his life and then switches up right then and there.
And then the other argument is like, oh, if you saw your recap of your entire life and you saw how you ended, and like in a bad way, you'd change immediately then too. Like, okay, I don't want that. Let me change right now. You know what I mean? That's the other counter argument that people have been saying.
Yeah.
Which I could kind of see that, but either way, I don't know.
From a story, if you're going to make a TV show like with character development and stuff like that, I feel like that's too easy. It's just an easy way to write yourself out of a thing.
Yeah, it should have been gradual.
Yeah. And I feel like season 2 of Loki finally kind of like, you kind of buy it. Yeah. You add on to that character development, because from the first episode of Loki, he's already kind of like in that mindset of like, I need to save the TVA because he who remains, he's coming, and we're all gonna get rocked. Yeah. Like, you know, we have to stop him. So you just kind of see his arc as the good guy in all of season 2, whereas in season 1 he's the good guy, but like you see his flip. Yeah. And it's like, damn,
he's a good guy, man. He's not a villain to me, man. So,
no, yeah.
So all those fucking people saying, "Oh my god, his performance was great." Yes, it was great, but to say the best MCU villain, like one of the top best, it was like, is he really a villain, man? Like, come on, know, man. Not until I see, like, if he's God of Stories and like because he has his power, he gets some temptation of like, oh shit, I could do whatever I want. Yeah. And he starts doing this shit. Okay, cool, but I don't think they'll ever do that just because
it wouldn't fit the story arc that
exactly. It wouldn't fit what we just saw.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, the sacrifice that he made for his friends and shit like that.
So yeah, it is.
I am gonna say I kind of disagree with you though.
With what?
How you said that we might not see Loki again in the MCU. I think we are, bro.
You think so?
There is no way we're not gonna see him again, especially with
this role,
with this direction. No, not even that. It's just with the direction that the MCU is going. This being the multiverse saga, and we're gonna deal with the multiverse. Like, I feel like we're gonna see him again in the future. Like, either he's gonna talk to Kang, like the Kang villain from Kang Dynasty, or he's gonna play a part in Secret Wars to gather the best champions of the multiverse into one arena type bullshit. Like, I feel like we're all gonna see him again, because like if he's someone that's looking over the multiverse in the Tree of Life in the end of time, and this is the multiverse saga, like it wouldn't make sense for us to never see him again. And if we don't, okay, but like I have a feeling we are gonna see him again. And Loki, or I should say Tom Hiddleston, was maybe told by the execs at Marvel Studios, like, hey, you know what, man? Can you go on social media and tell people that this was a good run? So that way they think it's the end, and that way when you show up in Secret Wars, it's like, oh shit, he's back type shit. I feel like that's what they're doing, because, you know, Marvel Studios are very big on like planning shit ahead and making sure to try to deceive the fans, except unless you're Marvel gods like us, in which case we see right through your bullshit. We know the plan. Yeah, we know the slate.
I practically wrote it.
Hey, we wrote X-Men. I don't care, bro. That's a dub on my part, man. That's a dub. We called that fucking shit,
that's
bro.
That's your biggest. Would you say that's your biggest?
Like yours is DC Studios. Mine's X-Men.
DC Studios.
Mine's X-Men, girl. I called that shit, and it was on tape. Yours wasn't.
That's fucked, bro. That's fucked. My shit wasn't on tape, man. I should have been. I could have sworn it.
Oh, that's funny.
That's crazy, man. So like nobody can never believe it. Like, it's only he said, she said type shit.
Yeah, bro.
It's only hearsay type shit.
But what do you think? Do you think we might see Loki again?
I mean,
Hector, Mario.
Well, based on like what you said, I mean that's kind of true. I could definitely see them doing that, bro. Like, oh shit, he's back. You know, trying to intervene in a way, right? Since he's an overseer and he could kind of
And he sees like, what the fuck is that?
What's going on?
Is that he
here?
who remains?
Yeah, type shit. Let me go check
what
that
the fuck is going on type shit. Like, why is he fucking up the, oh shit, he's coming after the Avenger? Like,
yeah.
I could see that something like that playing a part.
Bro. But I mean, that's pretty much how everything ends, man. Season 2, episode 6 of Loki, man. I think
season 3 confirmation, no plans. There was no post-credit scene, just like season 1 did.
Yeah.
About how there's going to be a season 2.
So I guess we should just jump to our ratings, man. What do you guys think?
So I'm assuming you want us to rate episode 6 and the show, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
episode 6 and the overall show. Mario, you want to go first? I'll let you take the mic.
I will. I will say one thing I do love about this episode is that this episode was very much carried by the dialogue, and it managed to entertain me thoroughly throughout the entirety of the length of the episode. I appreciate it when Marvel can show its props when it's like, yo, see, we can write. And I was like, I'll just do it more and other shit too.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, for real. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Don't make Fantastic Four funny. What the fuck is that bullshit that I saw?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
But hopefully, a man can dream, and hopes they learn from this episode and be like, people appreciate when we have good dialogue.
Yeah.
But as a total, as for this episode, I would probably give this one a 9. A 9, but I can't ignore as a series, as a whole season 2, it was pretty slow, and I can't just ignore it, even though the show ended off really good.
Yeah.
Like, in order for me to rate it high, it would have to be good from the start.
Yes, I agree.
And because of this slow start, I do think that season 1 is better than season 2. Because for me, from beginning to end, season 1 I loved it all. From beginning to end, season 1.
That's true. I remember, man. You were
And
saying it's the
season-
best fucking MCU
yeah,
show,
bro.
man.
Yeah.
I might fuck around and rewatch season 1, Loki. I need a refresher. I need to see if that shit was as good as I remember. But you were going,
But,
you were saying?
but season 2, I will say it's good.
Yeah.
Slow start, good ending. I'll give it probably an 8.
That's fair.
Cool.
What about you, Hav?
So for me, I agree with what Mario said. I think that this episode being the longest in the series, in season 2, I should say, was a good call because you could tell a lot of story in that episode. This kind of felt like an actual finale. The stakes were high. The journey that Loki went to, time slipping over and over again, trying to get the mission to go to plan, everything. Just basically all was executed perfectly. In a way where you're like, oh, we did it, but like, oh, there's another problem. So now we got to fix this problem, but now we have another problem and we got to solve it. And so like the way that the storytelling was done in this episode was done very well. I think that they do a good job of tying up this Loki's character arc. I just wish like if his switch up was more believable, it would be a perfect Loki story arc for this variant of Loki. Because obviously our Loki's the one that died in Infinity War.
Oh, that's another thing too. People were saying this is our Loki.
Yeah,
it's just the fact that it's back in time.
Yes,
it's the same timeline, but just.
But if he's not the one that lived through Dark World, Ragnarok, and died in Thanos' arms in Thanos' hands in Infinity War, is he really our Loki? If he diverged to a different timeline, he's just a separate Loki that could also be our Loki, but I don't see him as my Loki because he's like a variant with his own story. And I like the story that they tell because whereas one through a path of villainy resulted in his demise, this one who resulted in being a good guy resulted in him being seen as a hero, as a savior of all timelines. So I like the way that this arc that Loki had was tied up really well. I like the way that he sacrificed what he wanted for the better of his friends, for the better of all timelines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I do think we're gonna see Tom Hiddleston again. I think the way that all the characters did a really good job. I'm gonna be honest, this whole season I didn't really care that much about B-15.
Oh yeah. Bro.
I didn't really give a fuck about that character. Not even Casey, not even that motherfucker, the Alcatraz motherfucker. Like I didn't really care about him. I didn't really care either. OB had some funny moments. That's because I like him from everywhere, everything everywhere. Mobius kills it as always. Sylvie I thought was also really good in the show. But Loki was the one that had the most character development. His arc was tied up beautifully. So I think this episode is also a 9 out of 10. And just like what Mario said, as an overall show, it's ended very strong, though I still feel like those first 2 episodes just felt like filler. And a part of me felt like if you could just take episodes 1 and 2 and combine them as one and cut out all the filler shit and make it into one 40-minute episode and have it be 5 episodes instead of 6, it would then be a lot more concise. Or, and I know Mario knows this, there's a lot of people that like to take these 6-episode long Disney Plus shows and combine all of them into one and cut the filler shit and make a movie out of it. They did it with the Obi-Wan show. They made like 2 hour, 2.5 hour long movie rather than a 6-episode hour long series. They did it with a bunch of other, or like a few other projects that they did. I feel like this Loki show probably would have hit more if it was re-edited as a movie, cutting out all the filler shit rather than a 6-episode series. Or take the first 2 episodes, combine them, cut out the filler shit, make it 5 episodes. It'd be way perfect. But because we unfortunately do have those 2 episodes that were kind of boring, kind of felt like filler, kind of felt like setup, didn't really need to be there, and didn't really pick up till episode 3 and onward, I have to say that this show started off slow, ended strong, but overall, I'm feeling like a 7 out of 10.
Oh wow, 7! I was not expecting that. That's crazy. I was not expecting that. I mean, I agree. I mean, I can't really add on much to what both of you guys said. Just know I agree, and I also think that this episode was a 9 out of 10. And overall show, I'm gonna agree with Mario. I thought it was an 8.
Nice.
And
I think we rated this higher than Secret Invasion.
You gave it a 7.
This was definitely better than
Javi gave it a 6, and Hector gave it a 7.
For Secret Invasion.
Yeah,
like overall.
Yeah,
because man, we had some issues with Secret Invasion. I just thought that.
It was just a lot of stuff. Dialogue was fire.
No, yeah, for sure.
It's just like the stakes and the scrolls and I don't know.
But I just think it's because the last 3 episodes of this, the last 3 episodes of Loki, which is really good.
Yeah.
And that left you wanting more, and it ended really strong. So guys. So that's pretty much it. I mean, do we have anything else to say, guys? No. Guys. So that's gonna be the end of our review. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.
Peace.
See ya.